Hello Potters and welcome back to the Pottery Plus Studios. I am going to do a video today that I have been meaning to do for almost a year now, and that is to show the glaze results from our basic glazing techniques to try at home video. This has been rolling around in the back of my mind as something I have needed to take care of for, like I said, a very long time now. So I'm really happy to have the chance to just sit down today and do it and maybe get some feedback. So let me turn my camera around and we'll go take a look at these closer up. All right, let's start with the jewelry dish. I'm gonna go in the order of the demonstrations on the video. So if you've seen it, yeah, I'll just go in the order that you see these pieces through the original video. So this is the one where I just did the single dip of the daffodil colored glaze. And this is just a single dip, so you can see it got a pretty good coating for just a single dip. And then after the video, I went back and added these spots with like kind of a melon colored glaze, and then I squeezed out of, like, you know, those little stroke and coat glazes, those little bottles that you can get. I added these black dots on top of that, kind of that melon cantaloupe color, with just squeezing out those little dots on top. It's okay. It turned out all right. I still have it. I guess maybe I'll give it to someone as a gift, but yeah, like I said, it's okay. Maybe not my favorite thing I've ever made, but not every single piece has to be. Oh, and I just wanted to show you, the bottom turned out nice and clean. So again, that single dip coating did pretty good about like not running. You know how sometimes you have that problem and it's real frustrating. That daffodil glaze from Kentucky Mudworks is good about that. It stayed in place really well, I thought. Next, let's move on to the little pot, kind of nondescript piece here. It's kind of like a cylinder that's rounded at the bottom. So this is the one where I poured the purple on the inside and cleaned it up a little bit, and then I turned it over and dunked it, remember, into that same daffodil glaze, and I was like holding on by the, I don't even think I could get it now that it has the shiny glaze texture to it, but yeah, I dipped it in like this and then like this, and you can see like there's a little bit of overlap where like I dipped the top and the bottom, but to me that's okay. I'm always kind of saying like it's a handmade piece. It doesn't look like it need to look like it came from the factory, but so yeah, you can see a little overlap there, but I don't find that too distracting or too troubling. And I wanted to say too, like these two glazes, they made a nice edge together. They didn't bleed onto each other, so that edge was able to stay crisp. It's always nice when you find glaze combinations like that where you can have them kind of right up next to each other and they don't like kind of bleed and trickle into one another. If you're wanting a crisp meeting like that. So these two glazes ended up working well for that. I will say, and there was a commenter, I think that maybe felt like I was being a bit of a snob. I wouldn't normally line a pot with purple, but I did it so that it would show up better on the video. And I guess just what I meant, you guys, by that was like typically you would line with like a clear or a white or a black. So those are just standard. But again, using bright colors on the inside can be really fun too, especially if you're going more neutral on the outside. But anyway, so yeah, that's how that turned out. And if you remember, I just had wiped the foot off, but I left the interior of the foot glazed. So that's kind of fun. I think I must have accidentally wiped a bit of it off in the process because there's like a bare spot right there. But that foot turned out nice and clean. So yeah, that's that one. Next is, so I did the same thing. These look very similar, you guys, but let me show them you side by side. So this one's more of a bowl. This one's kind of like I said, like sort of a nondescript cylinder. But this is the one where I did the same thing. I poured on the inside, dumped it out, cleaned up the edge, and then with this one, I put it on a stilt, like a pottery kiln shelf stilt, and on a banding wheel, and I turned it around and poured the glaze over the outside instead of dipping the outside. That's just to remind you, the reason why we would do that is if the pot was too big to fit down into the glaze bucket to dunk. So that's why I did that one like that, wiped the bottom off, turned out pretty good. Pretty good. I guess there's not much else to say about that one. I think this is the one where there was a little bit like sloshing around down here. after I had done the initial lining and I was kind of going like this and shaking it around, you can see it did kind of pool down there. Sorry for the glare, but it didn't hurt anything. So it didn't bother me not to get that completely drained out. So yeah, that's how that one turned out. And the last one that I have to show you, this one might kind of be a shocker. So this is the one where I had lined, and I don't think I didn't even show the part about lining it because you guys had already seen that twice. But this is the one where I was painting the red clouds and just talking about how like you can paint a design on. You don't always have to dip or pour. You can use your painting skills as well. And so I ended up wiping those red clouds off. And I was playing around, sort of experimenting for a different project where I wanted to have these black brush marks. And so I just used this, I poured white, kind of a semi-matte white over the whole outside of it. And then I just used it to kind of play around with those black brush strokes. So that one took quite a different direction, but you know, I had it sitting there and I was like, well, I need something to practice on. So that's what this became. I feel like it definitely kind of looks like a practice round. But you know, there's nothing wrong with that. Still, you know, kind of a fun, functional little mug. There's the bottom of it. So yeah, all these pieces worked out pretty nicely. And sorry that took so long, but thank you for joining me to take a look at that finished product. And let me know if you have questions or comments. Hopefully we'll see you sooner rather than later. Bye, Pottery Plus. See you next time. Bye.